Good evening, my dear colleagues. Welcome to another Inged Zoom Serious Talk. Today, our guest is Patricia Arbona from Ludodrama, Argentina. Patricia Laura Arbona is a teacher based in Argentina who specializes in phonetics, phonology, and communication skills, and holds a postgraduate English language degree from Universidad de Buenos Aires. Sorry for my pronunciation.
That's great. Great.
Her particular interest areas are holistic education, discourse analysis, and English as a lingua franca. She is the founder and head of Ludodrama, a group of teachers whose main concern is to enhance the art of teaching. The title of her talk this evening is Spicing Up Communication Skills Through Drama. Thank you, dear Patricia, for being with us, for accepting to be our guest speaker. And welcome again. And the screen is all yours.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this invitation. And it's a great pleasure for me to be with you all. So before starting, I have to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, teachers of the world. Aidan, I want to say a big thank you to you because it's a great pleasure for me to be with you all, as I said before. And I hope that you will enjoy drama in the same way I do in my classes. Well, before starting, let me share the screen. All right. Now, if you are ready, I will start. Okay. Well, I think that before talking about spicing up communication skills through drama, it is important to highlight the fact that we are in a period of transformation in education that is taking place around the world. And the main aim is to replace the traditional model of education that is outdated and it does not respond to 21st century requirements. Fortunately, active methodologies have been implemented with great success, and the main focus is on student learning and active participation. In the case of English, there is an extra reason for change. English has become an international language. This means that it no longer belongs to native speakers. It belongs to the world. This means that there are more non-native speakers than native speakers. So this has given rise to a variety of accents. And students today need lots of exposure because they need to become familiar with the type of English that is spoken today. Clearly, we need to redirect our teaching aims and give the students the tools they need to become effective users of English and communicate with people whose mother tongue is not English. So the models definitely have changed. In this setting, drama plays a crucial role because it creates an ideal environment for the process of learning. First of all, drama and communication forms a binomial. They are inseparable. Why? The reason is simple. Drama means interactions. Drama is the only method of teaching which promotes the development of communication skills and the connection between verbal and non-verbal language. You know that non-verbal language is not taught, not even in the mother tongue. And we all know its importance in communication because it improves comprehension. Drama is a very valuable tool because it focuses on active practice rather than writing activities. This means that the students participate actively in different activities, mainly through interactions. This means that speaking and listening are constantly used in the classroom. So the students have the opportunity to develop productive and receptive skills. As you see, no other tool promotes this type of development in students. And there is no doubt that when we use drama in the classroom, the students improve their language skills and they are better prepared to keep a conversation going. Normally, students, when they are in a traditional classroom, the emphasis is on writing activities and on accuracy. And that amount of grammar and vocabulary they know is not usually related to contextualized settings. So they may know a lot of grammar and vocabulary, but if that information is not applied in the real life, they won't be able to use what they know. So drama invites the students to use the language they know to express their ideas, feelings, and thoughts. Isn't it great? Well, drama also focuses on speaking and I highlight conjunction and listening, because you might have noticed that listening is not taught, but it is evaluated. What a paradox, you know. I think that listening is a topic for another session. Why is it not included? Well, because we're still having a traditional method in which listening is ignored. Listening is not important. What is important is the mechanical repetition of structures and vocabulary. And that's the end of the story. There is no more information about listening. And when listening is used, there is important information that is missed. And today we will talk about that. And you will see how students are able to incorporate that information and improve their comprehension. So in this presentation, I will introduce creative ways of teaching English through drama, and share with you the type of strategies that we can use in order to help students become effective users of English in a global world. Because today we need to highlight this idea to be able to speak in a global world and to become familiar, as I said before, with the different types of accents. Okay. Number 2. All right. We're in a period of transformation, so of course that we need reflective questions. Why? We need to reflect on our own teaching practices, because at the moment we have teachers who are still traditional and teachers who are already changing teaching and learning. Remember that we are in the 21st century and teaching has evolved and learning has evolved. So we need to be different types of teachers in our classrooms. So what are the type of questions that we should ask ourselves? You can answer them in your chat box. Imagine that you wonder, how can I make learning more memorable for my students? What would you say? I read your answers. All right, I can read them for me. One word is enough. What would you do? Because remember that learning should be memorable and significant. If it is a mechanical repetition, that is not learning, because this repetition is soon forgotten. What would you say? One word, and we discuss it. Well, for me, the answer would be participation. In the traditional classroom, students remain seated individually, and they do not have the chance to share the learning they are having at the moment. And you know that when you learn individually, you are not really learning because they are listening to their teacher's lectures, and that is boring. What they need is a different type of learning that is provided by drama. Another question is, how can I improve their communication skills? You know, first of all, am I really teaching communication skills to my students today? Am I focusing on speaking and listening? Well, in order to improve these communication skills that are crucial in the type of English we are having today, I need to highlight or to focus on speaking and listening. Speaking and listening. Listening should be taught definitely. Why? because this improves comprehension. Remember that in a conversation, we are not just speaking, we are speaking and listening, and we are changing roles permanently. So students need to be prepared for speaking and listening to be able to participate in a conversation successfully. And the other reflective question is, how can I build students' confidence in speaking and listening? You know, there are students who don't like participating. Why? Because they are afraid of committing mistakes. Well, we need to encourage them to participate in the classroom because it is the chance they have to know how they use the language they know. So, how can I do this? Well, avoiding mistakes. Mistakes are not punishment. That's not being punishment. Mistakes are welcome. They are part of the process. We cannot learn without committing mistakes. Remember when you were young and you started learning how to ride a bicycle, all those falls that you had were mistakes that you committed till you got the right balance to be able to ride your bicycle correctly. Well, the same holds when learning a language, right? So allowing mistakes and also avoiding overcorrection. Teachers in general, me included, are very fond of correcting mistakes. And when you avoid overcorrection, the focus is not so much on accuracy. Accuracy is not as important as it used to be. The traditional model places a lot of emphasis on accuracy. But today, with the type of English we are having, accuracy is important, but it has got a second place in the line of importance. Okay, now the question is, but what is drama, Patricia, you might ask? Okay, well, drama, I love drama because when I think of grammar, I imagine that drama is movement, drama is action, drama is being. Drama is a form of art. And I think that this Chinese proverb is the best example to describe what drama is. I hear and I forget. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. This means that when students are directly involved in the process of learning, they are really understanding the new content. So this means that when students use drama, they learn by doing. So rather than sitting and listening to the teacher, they take a personal journey through experiential learning, hands-on learning. This is what is missing in our classrooms. Why? Because we are still depending on a model that is outdated. I understand that we are part of a system because governments want to keep this type of education method, but everything is evolving. Education is really evolving. And although we are part of the system that is traditional, we can introduce changes. I have done it. I started using drama many years ago, and the results are really great. And I started with my students at college, trainee teachers, and they discovered the importance. So when they graduate, they started using it. And it was just another tool I introduced in my classroom to see how the students reacted. Well, it was a very good impression. So I started using it at other levels. So you can do the same. Well, something amazing about drama is that it promotes the development of the 5 key 21st century competencies. They are usually called the 5 C's. Well, drama develops communication. We have already said it concentrates on both speaking and listening. The emphasis is on cooperation. Students work together. I have said that students are always involved in different types of interactions. So they work together, they share, they learn together. It promotes the development of critical and creative thinking. These are key ways of thinking in the 21st century. And they also learn to control emotions when they are together. They understand their own emotions. They are empathetic because they are able to understand others. And they also have a good relationship with their peers. So, as you see, drama is a dynamic drive of 21st century learning. And these skills are key because they help students thrive in a global society. Today, we need to think globally, and drama is a very useful tool to have a different perspective when we are teaching English to students around the world. Well, what is oral communication? Because I have mentioned that there is a close connection between drama and communication. Well, communication, you know that it is a two-way process between a speaker and a listener. And in our daily communication, 55% is devoted, 45% is devoted to listening, and 30% to speaking, and the rest to reading and writing. As you see, we are hearing and listening all the time, but we are not speaking all the time. We speak when it is necessary. But in spite of this, listening is not taught, not even in the mother tongue. So we are committing a big mistake. So now that we're in the 21st century and we're in a period of transformation, we need to pay attention to this. Listening is crucial. And today you will discover the main reasons for this importance. Well, what does communication include? Linguistic. The linguistic aspect of communication includes words. But words are not spoken alone. They are accompanied by paralinguistic information, which includes tone of voice and prosody. Prosody means rhythm and intonation. The problem with rhythm and intonation is that they are not taught either. They are not even present in textbooks because they are normally considered that they are unteachable, but unteachable does not mean unlearnable. If we give the students the necessary information, very, very simple information, you will see that they will be able to understand this quite easily. The thing is the way you present the information to your students. You know, this is very difficult. I don't understand. And they give up immediately. So drama has a way of introducing new material, creating a special atmosphere that invites the students to learn. Well, paralinguistic communication also includes body language. No language is spoken without gestures. Imagine, I'm producing gestures all the time at the moment. But imagine speaking like this in a monotone. It would disappear immediately. Besides, it's impossible because although I'm trying not to produce anything, my gestures are revealing that I need them to express my feelings. Now, I'm expressing my feelings because I'm energetic. I'm really glad talking about drama because I enjoy using it. Imagine say, well, yes, I can tell you the grammar is interesting. Well, I teach it in my classes. So you are going to lose interest immediately. But when you are energetic and you want to transmit information because you want your friends to do the same you're doing because you have been successful, well, your tone of voice, your body language is not just your words. It is not what you say, but how you say it. That's the difference. Well, drama teaches students how to say things, how to express ideas, not what to say. What to say is easy. What is difficult is the how. Okay. I'm talking about communication, but I need to know the role of pronunciation in communication. We have already said that communication includes speaking and listening. And speaking and listening are part of pronunciation because when students learn communication skills, they need to speak intelligibly. That is to say that in the classroom, we need speech clarity. If students are not able to pronounce correctly, they won't be understood, and misunderstanding will take place. And this will lead to breakdowns in communication, because remember that the students show the language they know through interactions. So in order to avoid breakdowns in communication, we need speech clarity. Without it, it is impossible to understand and be understood. When the students develop pronunciation skills, at the same time, they sharpen their speaking and listening skills. Speaking includes three main skills: fluency, vocabulary, and grammar use. Because when we are speaking, we select we have a special section, language section in the brain. So we organize the ideas, that is, I select the words, and when that is ready, when I am about to produce that message, I can say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God, what are you doing? So depending on the context, the same utterance may have different meanings. So this is related to speaking. So students need to react according to the situation they are in. So this is provided by drama. At the same time, when we are involved in a communication activity, we are listening. And when we are listening, we are not just listening to words, because as I said before, words are accompanied by paralinguistic information. So students are trained to understand words, but also the information that is not present in the words, the extra paralinguistic information that in many cases, it is much more meaningful than words. For example, I'm talking to Aidan and she asked a question. And instead of answering, I look at her in this way. So she gets the meaning immediately. So the meaning is, what do you mean by that, Aidan? Please don't ask that question. You see, well, but just a look may be meaningful. Silence is meaningful. So students, through the different activities in drama, they learn how to manage these types of communication. And they all improve comprehension. They are not used to doing this type of activities because they recite prepared dialogues, they recite summaries, and that is not communication. Well, of course, that when students learn pronunciation skills, the language is used in connected speech. Remember that once the students know the system of sounds of English, they have to use combination of sounds in connected speech, because when sounds are connected speech, the students can understand how they are linked together to create meaning. If you pronounce a word in isolation, is one thing, but when that word is used in connected speech, it may be affected not only by the intonational load, but also by a phonetic process. So some phonetic processes occur naturally. Even if you are a foreign speaker of English, you will be able to produce them naturally, because as soon as you articulate, they appear without any effort. But some others are optional, and they are learned just for receptive purposes. You are not interested in producing them because you prefer your normal way of speaking. These phonetic processes, which are not which are optional, may be produced in rapid speech. If you have a normal way of speech, you will forget about them. But you know what they mean when they are used in connected speech by other speakers who normally speak faster than you do. Okay, when you have all these types of skills, when you learn pronunciation, the students gradually gain confidence. And confidence is a word full of magic, because when students feel confident, their fear of participating disappears. So they are ready to participate because mistakes are welcome, as I said at the beginning. because they know that if they commit a mistake, they won't be interrupted, because they know that the process is not short. It takes time. So mistakes will be present during the process, but these mistakes that are committed will help them improve. That's the way learning works when we use drama. Well, when drama and communication skills get together, it is important to highlight the fact that drama makes language learning an active, motivating experience. And there are several reasons for this. First of all, drama has a holistic approach, or is holistic. Why? Because it connects thinking, doing, and feeling. No other tool is able to connect feelings in this way, and to connect the body with the mind. Well, the three of them are connected. That's why it is so different from the traditional way of teaching and learning. It incorporates verbal and nonverbal language. As I said before, no other tool considers verbal and nonverbal language together. In this way, the students are able to understand better what is being said. Remember that when you are listening to your interlocutor, you get prepared for the response, but you do not get prepared because of the question that was made. You pay attention to how the question was asked. Because I can say to Aidan, what do you mean by this? So she will respond accordingly. She may say, well, be careful. I can commit a mistake, but watch your words. Or don't answer me like that, or whatever, okay? And compare, what do you mean by this? I'm rather confused, so it's completely different, all right? Well, the drama applies what the students learn in contextualized settings. This means that students have vivid learning experiences. They use the language they know in real-life situations. Drama promotes creativity. Everybody is creative in this world. The thing is that creativity should be nurtured in the classroom. So when I encourage the students to be creative, I tell them to unleash their imagination and step outside the comfort zone. Creativity is outside the comfort zone. It promotes the development of critical thinking. When students learn to think critically, they are able to make decisions, solve problems, and think rationally and reflexively. They also are curious. They want to ask open questions, and in this way, they step outside the comfort zone. What is in the comfort zone is not enough for them. Well, it promotes the development of social and emotional intelligence. As they work together, they need to develop this type of intelligences. Why? First of all, to understand their emotions and that of their peers. And at the same time, they need to have a good relationship with their peers because they are together in most of the activities. As the students work together, cooperative work is really enhanced. Remember that we do not learn individually. Learning is a social process. I need others to be successful in my own learning. That's why when students learn together, they create a sort of framework which is used to support one another. They share strategies, ways of learning, different types of information, and gradually, as they gain autonomy, they no longer need this support because they become autonomous and they can go on learning by themselves. Drama engages all types of intelligences, and this is great because the traditional model of education promotes homogeneous classes, and we know that homogeneous classes do not exist. Each student is unique. They have personal characteristics. That's why when we prepare a plan, we need to consider not the content I want to include for a particular class. I need to consider the type of students I'm having before decide how I'm going to teach the content. And this is very important because at the moment we are just doing the opposite. So one size fits all model does not exist. We need to start working in a different way in order to give the students the tools they need in order to learn successfully. Remember that they go to school to learn, and when they feel frustrated, they feel disappointed, and they even quit. We need to be very careful on this. Well, soft skills are also present. Soft skills refer to personal attributes that directly relate to how you work and relate with others. The students are relating with their peers permanently. So when they are together and they develop these skills, they learn skills related to leadership, time management, negotiation, conflict resolution, etc. Drama is inclusive learning. There is no doubt about that, because it recognizes diversity and also the needs, the individual needs of students. And something very important is that it has an equalizer character, like all the other arts, because it is accessible to all types of students. When we use drama in the classroom, everybody has the opportunity to participate using their own capacities, their own talents. Nobody is excluded. And something very important to highlight is that drama promotes the use of metacognition and feedback. You know that these two crucial components in our classrooms are not as common as they should be. Drama teaches students to reflect on their own learning, to discover their weaknesses and work together to fix mistakes. That's why I love drama, really, because I feel that we are working together. It is another teacher that is next to me, and it is constantly helping me to improve my own teaching. Oh my God, isn't it great? Okay, so, and when students are given feedback, you know that they need feedback. And when it is not given, they ask for it. Miss, am I a good student? And you immediately realize that you are not giving any feedback. Oh my darling, of course, you are a bright student. Higher students do not ask these questions like a child, but they say, Miss, I would like to know if you think I'm prepared to sit for the final examination. They need it. So when it is absent, students usually complain. Probably they won't be able to tell that to you, but they ask for it. When they ask for it, it's because you are committing a mistake, right? Okay, so metacognition and feedback should be always present, and drama contributes to their presence. Okay, now, in what way does drama help communication skills or build communication skills? When we use drama, there is an active use of the target language. How? Through interactions. In the traditional classroom, speaking hasn't got a specific place, because writing is much more important than speaking. And when speaking is present, as I said before, it is not used communicatively. This means that teaching in the traditional classroom is not communication oriented. The activity students do is, for example, reciting the summary, as I said before. They are involved in a guided dialogue, and in this way, it is structured. They do not have the opportunity to express their thoughts and feelings spontaneously. So these are not examples of communication. The students are not communicating anything. The teacher is checking grammar and vocabulary, So there are other ways of checking the use of the language the students are using at the moment. Okay, well, when we use drama, the four macro abilities are developed. Speaking and listening are essential, And the other two, reading and writing, support the other two. There is consolidation of production and reception of sounds in connected speech, as I said before. What is interesting about this is that students discover that when we are speaking, there are two different types of words: content or lexical words and structure words. And some words are more important than others. And we do not speak in individual words. We speak in chunks, that is say in meaningful segments. Why? Because the brain cannot process individual words. It can process sequences, meaningful sequences. So our students have the tendency to have a choppy speech. So students say in the traditional classroom, there were some people sitting in the park. Oh, very good, no grammar mistake. But what about production? What about reception? It is boring to listen to a person like that. And sometimes peers complain because they say that some other peers, when they speak or read like that, they are not understood. And I understand them because it is true. So what they need to do is to pay attention. That's why exposure is so important. And when we speak, we need to concentrate on those words which are important. So I will read this sequence like this. There were some people sitting in the park. That's the way that is normally read. Why? Because this is provided by the rhythm of the language. That musicality that we listen when English is used is the result of this, the sequences of important and unimportant words. Then, contextualized acquisition of new vocabulary and grammar rules. There is no need of having lots of worksheets, mechanical repetition, in which the student fix the grammar, but then it is not applied in a real life situation. What's the use? So when I work in this way, when grammar and vocabulary are learned in real life situation, the classroom becomes a laboratory. The students experiment with language. There is a lot of trial and error. Mistakes are expected. They are part of the process. So they enjoy doing this type of activities because they know that if they commit mistakes, they are welcome. The teacher won't make a fuss. Okay. Now, assimilation of pronunciation, prosodic features, and nonverbal language. Of course, when students use the language in interactions, they discover that prosody is present and that nonverbal language is providing lots of information. For that, they need lots of exposure. But instead of listening to recorded material when we use drama, we prefer videos. Why? Because when the students watch videos, they can observe the type of body language and the speakers are using. So comprehension takes place more easily. They discover that the same utterance can be produced in different ways to produce different meanings. Although the sequence contains the same elements, the meaning is different if I say, did you call your brother? Did you call your brother? Did you call your brother? I'm changing the meaning. For this, I need different context. That's why highlighting may vary. The students learn how to highlight words, and they forget about speaking in a monotone. Acquisition of meaningful, fluent interaction in the target language. Of course, when the students use the language in connected speech in different types of interactions, they become fluent. And instead of focusing on accuracy, what is important now is fluency, that is to say clear speech, and intelligibility. And what about accuracy? Is it important? Yes, it is important, as I said before, but remember that it is a gradual process. Do not insist on accuracy every single class. Let them commit mistakes, because now the focus is on language use. That is to say, the communicative value of what is said, not language usage, not the rules of the language. And here, there is an awful example, you see, with mistakes, but it's very clear to understand what I mean. Suppose that a student is telling you a story, and suddenly he says, I didn't went to the cinema yesterday night. In the traditional classroom, the teacher would immediately say, didn't went? No, it is didn't go, remember. Well, and then the explanation. Yesterday night, no, remember, it is last night, right? Okay, go on. No, the child cannot go on because the flow of thought has been interrupted. So what we normally do when we use drama is to let them commit mistakes. Because if I say this, if I produce this utterance, do you understand? You do. But you immediately detect that I have made mistake. If I say, you are offering me a glass of water, and I say, thank you, I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. In Spanish, my language, this is correct, double negative. But in English, it is incorrect. But in spite of that, you are able to understand. So gradually, this mistake is corrected. Give the students time to organize the new information that they are receiving, because it is hard to learn English. So they need time and effort. Okay. And then an improved sense of confidence in the student's ability to learn the target language. Of course, when the students discover that they can commit mistakes, that the drama provides an environment that is safe, unthreatening, warm, they want to participate naturally. And they feel that the teacher is a member of their team. Everybody is having fun and everybody is learning. Remember that although we are teachers in the classroom, we are also learners. Okay. As regards nonverbal language, this is the part that is totally ignored. Well, now with drama, we include it. Why? Because it helps comprehension, because it has lots of meaning. We include, as I said before, paralinguistic cues, tone of voice, and prosody. And body language includes gestures, facial expressions, and body movements. According to a study made by Albert Mehrabian, 55% of what we say is devoted to body language, 38% to tone of voice, and only 7% to words. So you see how important paralinguistic information is. And here we can see the 3 V's together in communication. Visual, vocal, and verbal. Visual, how you look, body language. Vocal, how you sound, and verbal, what you say. Drama helps students develop holistic listening. Holistic listening is when you listen not only with your ears, but also with your eyes and with your heart. Because when we are having a conversation, we create an emotional bond. This means that emotions are present. Words are loaded with emotions. And students also learn active listening. This is crucial. This is a crucial component of effective communication. If you are not paying full attention to what is being said, we won't be able to respond properly. When students listen actively, they are empathetic and they take into consideration the speaker's intention, emotions, and attitude. Okay, so to be an effective communicator, students need to develop communicative and interactional competence. Interactional competence is ignored. And communicative competence is taught, but then it's not applied, because that communicative competence is applied when you use it in connected speech, in real life situations. Communicative competence is the ability, is the tacit knowledge of the language you have and its application in real life situations. And it is an individual skill. Interactional competence, on the other hand, is a collective skill. Why? Because it refers to the co-construction of meanings between speakers. But when we are having a conversation, we also need the development of conversational strategies, because there is a lot of negotiation. For example, I need repetition, extra information, paraphrasing, reformulation. So when the students have all these elements, they are able to keep a conversation going. Well, the active practice is the best part of the class, when the students are directly involved in the process of learning. Okay, so Drama advises the use of warm-ups. Warm-ups are energizers. We cannot start a class saying, good morning, sit down, open your books. This belongs to the traditional classroom. It's awful. When I was young, my teachers used to say something like this. Good morning, sit down, open your books, or start writing or copying from the blackboard. Awful way of starting. So those warm-ups establishes a connection between the mind and the body, because I have to use my mind, my body, and also being prepared emotionally. There is a variety of warm-ups. I have included just some. For example, breathing. When we breathe deeply, we send oxygen to the brain, so the brain is more alert. Or we can have physical stretching. For example, early in the morning, I can tell my student, okay, let's start some stretching. Raise your arms and try to touch the feeling. Yawn if you want, come on. Oh, my teacher allows me to yawn. What about yours? And they don't know that what I'm doing is just to alert their brain. Okay, vocal workout. When we are dealing with pronunciation, we need to warm up my articulators. So some taps on the cheek or massage may be present before this pronunciation workout, or the tongue, the most active articulator, may have some activity. For example, something like this, moving your tongue in a circle like this. And you will feel the warmth that gradually appears. And brain gym, well, students at all ages love this type of activity because they are great energizers. Well, what type of activities can we use? The ones that are verbal are usually present in the classroom. Everybody has done this type of activities, but the touch of drama is missing. Now, if you add the touch of drama, everything will be different. Well, you can use brainstorming, discussion, role-playing, and simulation. But here we need to make the distinction between the two. When we use role-play, the students take on a special character. They may be a witch, they may be an insect, an animal, a plant, and they wear costumes and they use props. In the case of a simulation, the students play themselves. For example, a student bought a fan, but when he went home, it didn't work. So the following day, he goes to the shop and makes a complaint. So there is a conversation between the customer and the assistant. Group story. Well, this is really very interesting because the students sit in a circle and they tell a story. Each student adds something to the story. The teacher may start saying, once upon a time, there was a very small elephant and a big butterfly. Then the first student starts the story, then the second, and they create together an amazing story. As a follow-up activity, they can create a short scene. A mini play, depending on the level, even if they are young, you can tell them to prepare a short play in which they use the language they know. The same can be done according to the level to the students. In this case, when they prepare a mini play, well, they take time for the organization. But for upper levels, improvisations can be used. And in this case, they do not have time to organize their ideas. The teacher gives them the topic and they start developing it. So it is a way of checking how well they can use the language they know. Well, nonverbal is in red because this is the part that is not practiced in the classroom. Here I have included some activities, but if you search the net, you will find lots and lots of nonverbal activities. One of the first things that you can do, as you are not familiar with drama, is to tell your students to prepare a list of gestures. And you can ask them, well, what would you, how would you react if you meet a friend you haven't seen for ages? What would be the gesture that you would create? Or the same can be done with emotions. Well, opposite emotions is more difficult, but not impossible. Body talk, in this case, the students prepare a short scene without words. The class is divided into two groups. So one group performs the scene without words, and then after they finish, they tell their peers to describe what they have done using words. As a follow-up activity, they perform the scene again using verbal and nonverbal language. Charades. Charades are very common. It is a game of pantomime, a game of acting out. The students express meaning without words. It is especially for revising vocabulary or actions. It may be the title of a book, the film, or just an action. You don't say. In this, you prepare a list of nonverbal behaviors, and then you tell the students to describe when and how this particular body behavior is used. For example, there is a difference between this one. So I'm placing the hands more or less in the same way, but the meaning is completely different. Movement story and action songs are TPR activities in which the students respond physically to linguistic input. Simon Says is the usual one that is used in the classroom. Well, I have brought for you today some activities in order to see how they work. So probably you will help me enjoy these activities together. I mentioned before expressing the opposite emotion. You can have a picture like this, and it's so that the students are able to see lots of emotions together. So I say, well, this is for you. You are my students now, and you will help me to work on this activity. Okay, suppose that I tell you, no, you have to say, happy birthday. I want you to say, happy birthday in a sad way. You are very sad because it is your birthday today. Normally, when it is your birthday, you are happy. Well, I want you to be sad. How would you say? It is my birthday today. Okay, now you're angry. It is my birthday today. They enjoy these activities a lot, and they are using their non-verbal language. So see, it is easy. It is easy. So I want you to do something for me now. Get ready for, suppose that you say, I won the lottery, and you're disappointed. How would you say this? Who would say, you're disappointed, you won the lottery? Imagine. But you're disappointed because you won the lottery. How would you say it? I won the lottery. Something like that, you see? Well, this is an excellent activity. Another one, total physical response. This is especially for vocabulary and imperatives. This can be done not only with children at any level, because all students have fun with this type of activities. Play the trumpet, wink, laugh loudly. Okay, storytelling is another interesting story activity, because you tell a story to your students, and when you highlight a word, they represent that word physically. This can be done, normally it is done with little children, but you can use it with older students. For example, once upon a time, there was a big elephant. So children may do something like this. It was very sad. Suddenly, it appeared. So you are checking comprehension, and students are using body language while they are learning. Okay, gibberish is another interesting activity in which you tell your students to invent a new language, something nonsensical, or to express a list of sentences you have in a list, or you can tell them that you can express these sentences using numbers or letters. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What did I say from the list? Please be quiet. Or for higher levels, they have to guess what I meant by expressing this, because body language is helping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So something related to silence is present, and it is not provided by the language, it is provided by the nonverbal language, okay? Well, for upper levels, what the students can do is to engage in a dialogue, a very short dialogue, and then their peers have to decide what they were talking about. So in this case, body language and prompts may help. Well, and finally, this is the last activity, one-word dialogue. You present this mini dialogue, and the idea is to use all the elements of pronunciation. You tell them, well, you prepare copies, the students work in groups, and they have to read the mini dialogue. After that, you tell them to expand it. So when they have to read the mini dialogue, they have to think of the tone of voice and the body language. So it's not easy if you are not familiar with these elements in communication. So when students are familiar with the language and all the elements of pronunciation, they know what to use. So I'll read it, and it is something like, gone. Really? Again. Surprise. And now, she's gone. She's left. She's not in the room. Really? You sure? It isn't the first time. She's done it before. Now she's run off again. How are you surprised after the way you treated her? You see? Well, this is one way of performing this short dialogue. The students can think of other possibilities. That's why drama gives the students the opportunity to express themselves in the way they feel it. Well, so concluding remarks. I think that there are two important takeaways here from this presentation. Drama, there is no doubt, is built on interactions. It is the perfect vehicle to introduce and develop communication skills. If you have any doubt, let me know. Drama integrates verbal and nonverbal language. Nonverbal cues speak louder than words. So my final advice is feel the magic of drama and enjoy how students become effective users of English in a contextualized setting. Well, thank you very much. And now I would like to listen to you, and let's move to the section of question and answer. I will stop sharing now. And I'm all ears.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What a great presentation. Thanks a lot. And with the last slide that you had, where you said grammar integrates verbal and non-verbal communication, which is the real communication. No one speaks like a frozen body. There is always non-verbal cues or paralinguistic features in the message. And as you have said, if we try to teach our students to talk like a machine where there's no feeling, it's not the real language. It's not the real communication. So what a great presentation. My dear colleagues, do you have any questions, or If you'd like to make any comments or remarks, you're more than welcome. That in order to give you some time to think about it, I have one question.
Okay.
As you have mentioned, body language is a part of our communication, but we know that uh, some body language is universal, but
Yeah.
most is cultural, culture specific. So, for example, this in Turkish means no thank you, and you don't need to say anything. It's just if someone offers you something, would you like to have a cup of tea? Meaning, no, I don't want it. And it is a part of our body. We do it automatically without thinking. Now, should we feel concerned that L1 will interfere in the form of body language when our students are speaking in English? So, if, for example, someone says, would you like to have a cup of coffee? If my student goes and says, no, thank you, this doesn't mean anything in English. Should we feel concerned about it? Or, in your opinion, of course, should we just let it go?
No,
It's a kind of an interlanguage.
yeah. The problem is that when we have multicultural groups of students, we need to be careful with the type of body language that is used, because some of you said are universal, but not all of them are.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to keep within those which are familiar to different types of students.
Mm-hmm.
But if they use the one that they are familiar with, no problem. They
Mm-hmm.
may even, other students may even ask, what do you mean by this? Because this is not used in my country. So they are learning. So I love having multicultural classes. This is not the case in my country. In my country, we have groups of Spanish students. But in multicultural classes, you have the opportunity to learn a lot from your students. And communication is more expansive because there is a lot to say from our own countries, from our cultures, way of living, imagining. So it is really great to have this type of classes to exchange information.
Okay, wonderful. Um, well, people are thanking you. I don't know whether you can see the chat box or not, but
Yes,
the
I will.
participants are thanking you,
There are
and
lots of
they
messages.
yes. Ilfocan, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Patricia, right? Patricia, for this wonderful presentation. I would like to share an experience before I ask my question. When I was in secondary school learning English, we had a teacher. He was very creative for that time. It was ages ago when I was in secondary school, and he was into drama in language teaching. It was in the 80s, right? And he let us write our own script and act it out in the classroom. And we would like write scripts of Turkish romantic movies and act them out like the girl is hit by a car and she comes flying and she says, oh, I cannot see, I cannot see. And then a miracle happens and her eyes open. And we were having so much fun. And each lesson we would ask him, let's do drama, let's do drama. And he said something like this. The Turkish participants will understand it, but I will also act it out with body language. He said, drama, drama, it has come burama. Do you understand? Right, I'm fed up with you, right? Teskam Burama, right? I just remembered that we loved it so much that we wanted to have drama every class, but he also had other things to teach us. So yeah,
There was not so much time devoted to that. But the thing is that when you teach drama, you are not teaching content. You are teaching how to use content in contextualized settings. That's the difference. That's the difference. That's why you enjoy as a student and as a teacher, because everybody is having fun when you are using drama in the classroom. For
but
this reason,
learning
I
at
love
the
it.
same time. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so
yeah.
much. And my question is, do you have any suggestions for university students? Like, does your activities apply to all ages, or could we like adjust them a little bit for students at like adult students at the university, for example?
No, they can use drama too. For example, at university, if you are preparing to become a teacher or any other, the thing is that normally drama is considered a special performance for a specific situation at the end of the year or whatever. No, it should be part of the process of learning. If you are at a university and you are preparing to become a teacher, they need to practice how to use drama with your future students. So you need to be part of drama techniques. And the methodology teacher is responsible for saying, okay, you have to teach the present tense, use drama. You have to teach emotional intelligence. How would you teach emotional intelligence in your classroom using drama? Well, you have to be creative. We've got another thing that is important to be developed at college or at university if you want to be a teacher is your creativity. If you are not a creative teacher, you won't be able to step outside the comfort zone. And one of the first steps that should be taken is to be outside that zone, which is not giving you anything, because if you remain there, you will never be an effective teacher and you will never be able to give the students the tools they need to be independent and to become lifelong learners.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Patricia, I believe the activity that you shared with us, the one where you had different moods, happy, angry, that kind of thing, and you ask your students to say whatever, something in that mood. I think that is a wonderful activity, and we can use it with young adults.
Yeah, with everybody.
We can, that will be fun.
Yeah.
And if we can find really funny statements, crazy sentences, and if we ask them to do, for example, something stupid and ask them to say it angrily, that will make them laugh a lot. That will be a wonderful comedy scene in the classroom.
That's it. That's why they enjoy the classes when
I
they
don't
have
think
drama.
that it is age restricted there. I think
No.
that activity specifically can be used. And isn't it possible to ask them to do a dialogue in the same manner? Maybe a short dialogue.
According to
you're
their
in
level.
a hurry, you need to catch up with the bus. The bus is about to leave, so finish this dialogue in 5 seconds, that kind of thing. That would be fun, right?
Of course.
I can imagine two university students doing that.
Of course, because I studied, as I said before, I studied drama with my students, with trainee teachers. And they inspired me to introduce this tool because I realized that something was missing. Teaching phonetics, phonology, and communication skills, you need the tool to articulate them all. So I thought of drama, and with great results. So they were interested in performing a short scene because they can assess themselves. So their metacognition practice is present. They wanted to assess themselves. And this is great. When the students discover their progress in learning and they feel that they are having fun while they are learning, well, they forget about worksheets because the students don't like worksheets. Writing activities, they are boring. They need action. Learning is action. It is action if we are adults and we are learning something new. So it is independent of age, as you said. Anyone can enjoy using drama and learning at the same time. That's why I advise it. I love it. And let me tell you that when I started using drama, I never imagined the impact it would have on my life professionally and personally speaking. So today I cannot start my classes without inspiration. I get inspired, and I know that I will have fun too. So my classes are not boring because I always introduce something that an element of surprise, even if you are not using drama, an element of surprise is crucial. According to neurolinguistic neuroscience, you need to introduce an element of surprise when you are teaching. Anything, just a message on the board, or just an object, and strange object on the desk during the break. The students are already motivated and they are curious, and when they start telling what it is about, they are engaged. So you start the process of learning with your students already motivated, because it's difficult to get motivation in the classroom.
Azra Hojam has a question in the chat box. Well, I think we have already answered the question, but still, I'm going to go through it. She says, is it possible to use drama at lower level for lower level students? For example, elementary level students.
Children, yeah.
Not children, the adults, but with A1 level English.
Yes. Well, let me tell you something. Some years ago, I studied a course at university with a group of ladies who wanted to travel. They wanted to learn English just to travel around the world, but their English was somewhere behind here in the head, and they want to reactivate that English they had studied many years before. So, of course that I use drama, but they had never used drama before because they studied English in the traditional way. So after my first class, I told them, okay, for next class, you will bring a ball. Ball? What do you need a ball for? They said, you bring a ball. And the following class, we started playing with the ball, and they enjoyed the class very much. So they discovered drama gradually, but of course, they were surprised because it was a completely different way of learning. So they had traditional method, boring, listening to the teacher, lots of writing activities. And when they found that a teacher wanted to bring a ball or any other object, they got surprised. But gradually they got used to this type of objects and ways of learning. And of course, they started enjoying it. The main mission was to awake their English, because they used to know English, but it was slipping somewhere. So they had lots of fun. Yeah.
I guess we can say that drama is not limited to any age group or any language competence and level. If it all depends on, as Patricia has mentioned, it all depends on the teacher's creativity. If you can adapt the material that you have, use the right level language for your students, you can use drama anytime.
Of course.
And
even
your
if they
students will love it.
Of course. Because the thing is that even if the students are young and their level of English is low, they get motivated because you are inviting them to create something new using the element they have at their disposal. So I'm not asking for something special they won't be able to do. So they start working together. And the thing is that let them work together, not individually, because it's difficult to work individually. This is not the way we normally learn. We need other people. So when they work together, they develop their thinking and critical skills. So that's great. So we are not just doing one activity. We are developing several skills at the same time. That's why drama is so complete and very valuable and powerful tool for us to use in the classroom.
And in case you have very shy students where doing something with the foreign language is quite embarrassing, what you can do maybe is to assign them or ask them to choose a new identity, because this is drama. So they can say, um, I'm Harry Potter, okay?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
now on,
yes,
and they can even put their names on here and as name tags and say, I'm Harry Potter, regardless of their gender. They can choose anyone. And then the mistakes that they make do not belong to them. Those belong to Harry Potter.
of
So the
course.
moment they take out the name tag and throw it away, all the mistakes go away.
It's Harry Potter's mistakes. Yes, you're
Yes.
right. Yes, when they assume when they take on a role,
Mhm,
besides they know that mistakes are allowed, so it doesn't matter if I say yesterday night, no problem, because
mhm,
they know that they are in the process of learning a new language, and the teacher allows them to commit mistakes. That it is a process, and they correct them together. It's
mhm,
not my
mhm,
mission. You let them correct their own mistakes. If they can't, then you will help them. Sometimes you can devote a whole class. For example, if the students are given a sort of assessment and you have noticed that many common mistakes are present, instead of explaining them on the board, what you can do is, okay, let's devote a class and let's discuss the mistakes you've made in this assessment. What do you
mhm,
think the mistake is here? You tell one student, and they start discussing. No, it's not because the S was added or the S is
mhm,
missing, or the choice of vocabularies, whatever it is. So you make them think, because if you give them the right version, as we normally do, you cross the wrong, the mistake,
mhm,
and then
mhm,
we give them the right answer. No, this is a mistake. You can underline. Okay, discuss it with your students.
mhm,
Why is it wrong? You tell me.
mhm,
I thought it was like that. Well, if you think so, it is a case of getting the wrong information, because the
mhm.
problem is fossilization. When mistakes are not treated, students may tend to have fossilization. This means that they fix the wrong facts or new information. That's why asking about mistakes is also a process that should be present in the classroom. In
Mhm.
this way, mistakes are fixed and fossilization is not present, is not allowed to be in the classroom.
Okay. So you are for self-correction and peer correction.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
That's
Peer
great.
correction is great because
Mhm.
they work together and they think that the idea is to make them think critically and creatively,
Yeah.
because they know that mistakes are didactic. They are
Yeah.
their friends.
And even native speakers make mistakes. So if the mistake does not impede communication, let it
That's
go.
it.
Don't
All
worry
right.
about it. Today
And
I
something,
listened to a native speaker from Newcastle, and she made, I can say, at least 10 very common mistakes.
oh,
Yeah,
really? I'm fascinated.
I was say, yeah, from Newcastle, I'm saying, United
Yeah,
Kingdom. Well,
yeah,
of course, we are talking about standard dialect versus sub-dialects.
mm,
Even an educated person can still stick to their sub-dialect and
yes,
forget about the standard dialect. But still, I mean, it was amazing. And, just look at yourselves. When I speak in Turkish, my native language, oh my God, I make lots of mistakes. But just because it's my native language, we laugh at it and we just let it go.
of course. The
So,
problem
no
that
big deal.
no, but the problem we are having when we teach English is that we expect our students to be accurate in a language they are trying to
To
learn.
learn. Yeah.
So when we ourselves commit mistakes in the mother tongue, so
Hmm.
this is a big mistake that should be avoided. We cannot. That's why accuracy is a slow process. We cannot ask for accuracy
Hmm.
when we start teaching students the language, the target language. This is the big mistake, because the students do not want to participate because they know that if they commit mistake, they will be corrected immediately. So they prefer to remain silent.
True,
That's
true,
that's
definitely.
yes. As
Well, I
simple as that.
cannot see any other questions in the chat box. I believe, of course, there are so many compliments and wonderful remarks about this insightful session. Great presenter. Thank you very much. I really don't know how to express my feelings because drama is something special for me as well. So thank you for being here, for promoting the use of drama in the classroom. And as always, I thank my colleagues who joined us this evening. Thank you very much. Without you guys, these sessions don't mean anything. So thank you, Patricia. If you'd like to say farewell, please go ahead and we can finish the session.
Okay, well, thank you for your kind words. It has been really a pleasure to be with you all. And well, I know that I have been very energetic, but that's my way of showing you how important drama is and how happy you can feel when you use drama. That's why I feel you are my friends, and I want you to use drama because I feel really very happy when I use it because I can see the results I get with my students. They have fun, they learn, and positive feelings are always present in the classroom. And we shouldn't forget that cognition and emotion go together. If students are not emotionally prepared, they won't learn. Students do not learn when we want to teach them. They learn when they are emotionally prepared. That's the difference. And drama helps students to have positive feelings. That's great. So I'm glad that you have listened to me so attentively. I appreciate your participation, and I have noticed that you've been very interested in what I've said. So I feel very pleased to have shared my thoughts about drama with you. Thank you, Ivan, for this invitation.
Thank
It has
you.
been a great moment for me and for you
It
all, I
has been
think.
a pleasure for us too. So take good care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of the day. It's evening here. In fact, it's night time right now. So I know it's afternoon, right? In
Yes,
Argentina.
four,
Yeah, yeah.
4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Okay.
4 o'clock.
Well, take good care
Okay,
of yourself and
sure,
hope to
thank
see
you.
you again. Bye bye,
Of course.
everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Bye bye.